you working. Never stop. You never stop working. Never stop. Never stop working. Even when I feel that you're working. Never stop. Never stop working. Never stop. Never stop working. I don't see that you're working. Even when I don't feel that you're working, you never stop, you never stop working, you never stop, you never stop working. Maker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. 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 Yes, y'all, he is a miracle worker. Yes. Lord Jesus, he is a miracle worker. He is a promise keeper. Yes, he is. I love that song, y'all. I could just sit here and listen to it. But I had something on my heart that I really wanted to share with everybody today. I know a lot of things have changed this year from the way they have been done in years past or in times past. I think there's a group of people, though, that we need to not forget about during all of this. I know that for so many of us, we've become self-centered. It's been about what are we going to do with our jobs and what is the inconvenience going to be for us and what do we have to do if we go to this place or that place, or is this person going to comply or not comply, and what are our beliefs on it? Should we wear a mask? Should we not wear a mask? Should we send our kids to school? Should we not send our kids to school? I mean, there's so much going on right now, and in the midst of all this, there's so many people that are lonely, that are hurting, that are full of fear. But I will tell you another group of people who this is probably going to affect more than anyone else, and that is our children. That's this younger generation. These kids are experiencing something right now unprecedented that no one else has ever experienced, not like this. And I just want to give you guys a word of caution and put this out there. And I know that everyone doesn't have this great choice, but I think most of us do. And, God has entrusted us with our little ones, whether they're from birth, adoption, children living with us, of family members, if you're a grandparent, raising your grandchildren, aunts, uncles, whoever. The little ones that are in your lives, you have been charged with their well-being and with taking care of them. And I'll tell y'all, one of my children needs to go to the dentist, and we did set up an appointment for this week. But we had recently moved, and there was another dentist office that was closer by, and I wanted to kind of get something a little closer to home. So I started going online looking at reviews, and this one just had fabulous reviews. It wasn't far from where we live. So I gave them a call. They were very friendly on the phone. And I'm not going to say the name of the dentist office, but you guys, this was troubling to me. I have a 4 and a 6-year-old, okay? And I called, and I'm talking to the young lady, and I'm telling her the situation, and then she tells me towards the end of the call, when I was getting ready to go ahead and set the appointment, that I would not be allowed to enter the building with my child. Now, mind you, my children are 4 and 6. So I sat there on the phone for a moment, and I thought, so I can't go in the building at all? No, ma'am. Due to COVID, you can't come in the building at all. That's a problem for me, guys. A 4 and a 6-year-old. Neither one of them are old enough to go in there. She said they would be brought in, taken to a waiting room that's in the back of the building. They would have to sit in that waiting room, and then they would have to go into the dentist by themselves. Can you imagine? I'm sorry, maybe your kids aren't scared to go to the doctor or the dentist or whatever, and that'd just be perfectly fine for them. It is not perfectly fine for me or my children. Now, guys, listen. I am not saying that doctors are bad people, that dentists are bad people. They do lots of great work. But we have to understand that people are people. And whether we want to admit it or know it or not, there are all sorts of bad things that happen in this world, particularly to children. From before the time children are even born, people are already trying to hurt them. Okay? I'll save my abortion views for another day. But we have physical abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse, all types of abuses. And right now, in this day and time, this is a breeding ground for people to be opportunists and to take advantage of situations that they wouldn't normally have. Now, I am sure that it's a perfectly fine environment and a perfectly fine staff of people, but I'm sorry, I am not going to trust my 4 or 6-year-old to go into a facility, a medical facility, where they're probably looking at this person like this person's going to take care of them, and open up a door for an opportunity for somebody to do something to my child. It's not happening. Okay? Now, there are lots of situations where this is happening. I will tell you that the dance studio that my daughter goes to, parents aren't allowed to go back into the studio, but they have videos set up. And I know the owner of the dance studio, which still doesn't mean anything, right? We know that most children are sexually abused by family members or friends of the family and people they know. But having the video cameras, I know that it's not just my eyes that can be on my child. It's all the parents who have children in there. And my child's not going to the restroom. She's not doing other things while she's in there. And I'm typically right outside. And so, and that's another situation where you have to be cautious. You have to be aware. You have to use your good judgment. You can't just allow your children to continue to go into places like this, particularly doctor's offices and dentist offices. That's a problem for me because, you know, children are already typically kind of nervous when they go to the dentist or the doctor. I know at least mine are. They don't know if they're going to get a shot. You know, there's this equipment and this stuff, and they're just not 100% sure about it. And for a parent or a guardian or a loved one to be there with them, holding their hand, comforting them is imperative. And so I just pulled some scriptures, and one that really stood out to me was 1 Corinthians 14:20, and it says, "Brothers and sisters, do not be children in your thinking, yet in evil be infants, but in your thinking be mature. Don't make dumb decisions, think things through." Let's think about this, guys. And then if you don't believe that people are doing bad things to kids, I'll read this scripture to you and let's break it down and see. It's in Matthew 18:6. It says, "But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin or stumble, it is better for him that a heavy millstone be hung around his neck and he be drowned in the depths of the sea." So that shows me right there that there's people who are willing to do bad things to kids. There are malpractice lawsuits all the time. There are people who are influential, who are doctors, lawyers, judges, church, youth group leaders, teachers, people of all sorts that are getting caught up and arrested in these child sex trafficking rings and all of these different things. And I'm not trying to scare you guys, but what I want to do is just think, just use a little bit of wisdom and knowledge and know that these little children, okay, as rambunctious and as strong-willed as they may be, still need your guidance. They still need your protection. So don't let this COVID situation and all these mandates and policies and all this stuff that's been put into place by all these different organizations, doctors' offices, companies, whatever, don't let that be your standard or your guiding light, okay? You protect your children. No one else is going to do that for you. You protect them. No one else is going to love them like you do, care about them, and look out for them the way you do. There may be people who care. There may be people who will look out for them, but not the way you will as their mama and their daddy. So make sure that you are being diligent. Don't just trust everything everybody's saying. You be their protector and their guardian. And keep your eyes out and be alert, because right now there are so many children out there that need strong people to look out for them and to love them. A lot of child abuse cases have not been reported now. They're saying that, I think it was the second quarter of 2020, they were having 40 and 50% fewer cases reported. That's not a miracle. God is a miracle worker, but that's not a miracle. What that means is that children are not around people who are able to report these things, because the parents aren't going to report on themselves. And so when I was looking up some statistics and some things, and what I found was that 67.3% of reports made nationally to Child Protective Services were from professionals serving the children and families. And that came from publichealth.gsu.edu. And what that means is we have people like public case workers, we have teachers, we have probably Sunday school teachers, we have after school people, we have coaches, we have all these different professionals who can observe this child's behavior over time, or physical markings, bruises, distraught behavior, all these things that they can then report. It's not being reported because guess what? You got to social distance. A lot of people are shut down. You have masks. You can't even see the expressions the kids are making. You couldn't even see if they had bruising or something going on their face right here, because guess what? Mom and dad can just cover it up with a mask and nobody even has to see it. So guys, a lot of these incidences are not even being reported right now. So it is our responsibility as the community to try to look out for our children and the children around us. Another thing that I thought was staggering, we know that Facebook is globally, and we know that this is all over the place, not only in the U.S., but people could be watching this video from a different part of the U.S. or globally. But this is according to Facebook. In the second quarter, they removed 9.5 million pieces of content that had child nudity and sexual exploitation. That was in the second quarter of 2020. Now that was up from 8.6 million in the first quarter of 2020. First quarter, 8.6 million. Second quarter, 9.5 million. That's a lot. That's a big increase from one quarter to the next. What was that difference from the first quarter of 2020 to the second quarter of 2020? Lockdowns, quarantine, COVID. People are people, and people are opportunists, and there are people who are evil who prey upon our children, and upon given the opportunity to do so, they will do so more. So guys, let's be awake. Let's open our eyes. Let's not be blinded to this just because it may not be happening in our home, or because it's uncomfortable to talk about or to think about the atrocities of man's heart. Let's not turn a blind eye. Do not turn a blind eye. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So, just think twice if a doctor's office or if a place says, no, you can't come in here with your child. Just think twice about it, and you've got to go with your gut instinct and what you feel is correct for your child. But it didn't sit well with me to tell me that my child has to go sit in a waiting room in the back of a building and then go into a dental office and see the dentist by themselves without me. Sorry, bucko, not happening. We found another dentist, and that's that. So I hope you guys got a little bit of information here. I would encourage you, always do your own research. Don't even listen to just what I say. Do your own research. Look at all different outlets and all different media. DuckDuckGo is a great place to go in lieu of Google or one of these other search engines that tracks where you've been. Because what will happen if it tracks where you've been, it'll automatically just pull stuff up it thinks you want to see. So if you want to see the full picture of everything, not just what your political party or your religious affiliations, if you want to see the full, more broad spectrum when you're actually searching for things, DuckDuckGo is a great place to go for that. No, I don't get paid anything for saying that. I just like to do research, and I don't like to be fed a bunch of stuff that some internet software program thinks I want to hear. I want to know the truth, not feed my own agenda. So, in any case, hope you guys have a wonderful day. Be alert, be aware, take care of those precious little babies, and I'll see you next time. Toodles.